Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you...
Welcome back to another episode of the Football Experience. Today it's just us two. So yeah, let's get straight into the reactions first. So the first one's Southampton versus Palace.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 2-1 win for Saints.
3-1, I think. Let me just double
3-1?
check.
It might be 3-1. I might have got it wrong.
Yeah, 3-1. Southampton win, yeah.
3-1 Saints win.
Yeah, 2 Ings
what
goals and 1 Che Adams goal.
do you think of the game overall?
I think they played well. They had a terrible start. They went a goal down in the first 2 minutes. But I think overall they played quite well.
Yeah, considering what happened, did well to fight back into the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought Ings played really well, as well as Che Adams.
Is that his first game back, Ings?
I'm not too sure, if I'm honest. I can't remember. There's been so many games. It's hard to remember what order.
It was one of his more recent games since he's come back from injury. And it's good to see. He seems to be, back to his usual self, which is nice, especially for Saints fans.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I thought the whole team played. I thought Forster had a good game as well.
Yeah. I guess then the contrast, Saints v Liverpool.
Yeah.
A 2-0 win for Liverpool. Not that that's anything to be ashamed of or anything, but what did you expect anything out of the game, or? Not
really. If I'm honest, you don't really expect anything from the game at all. But you at least want to score a goal. Like you expect at least a goal. But
I think with games against Liverpool, like people are sort of taking them a little bit less seriously this year, just because they're not as good as they were. But realistically, like you do have to look at it like they are still a very tough game. And, a 2-0 loss isn't, it would be nice to have got a goal or something just for maybe confidence even. But, it is what it is. One of those definitely. Ones.
Yeah, and then I guess the more recent Saints game was the Fulham game. With Nathan Taylor scored his first goal for Saints.
Yeah, that was another. Is it 3-1 as well?
Yeah, another 3-1.
Yeah, not bad. Scoring quite a lot of goals apart from the Liverpool one. It's a little bit, too late to start it, but
I guess it's a good finish for the season's always. Could hopefully take it into the next season.
Yeah, definitely.
And it can still go up to 2 places or so.
Yeah, it'll be good because like when I was looking at it before and you were like 17th, obviously you were safe pretty much, but being in 17th is a bit like it doesn't look great. And then now I think you're 15th, something like that.
We're 14th now.
14th,
and you could go up to 12th, but that depends on Wolves.
Okay, that's not bad. It'll be good to end on a positive note and then try and maybe keep what you had at the start of the season going for a bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So let's move on to Chelsea versus Man City. What did you think of that game?
It was a weird one because obviously, we just sort of it's been about a week since we got into the final when we played them. Yeah. And obviously it looked like a bit of like a, dress rehearsal game for the final more than anything. Both teams were a bit scared to show everything they got. So I know, like I think both teams, played slightly weakened teams. And, by the, obviously obviously we got the late goal with Alonso, which wasn't necessarily expected to win. But you know what? It's after the more recent results against Arsenal and everything. It's that game. Winning that game might have been a very important one for our season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it was 2-1 to you, that game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ziyech, who scored for you? Was it Ziyech?
Ziyech and Alonso.
Alonso, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So it was a good game, you know. So a few of our, not fringe players, but you know what I mean, like they're not regular starters coming in. Gilmore played most of the game, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reece James. He plays quite a lot now, so doesn't he?
Yeah, James is. I really like James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any like positions you think you should sign players in?
It's difficult, really, because you know the obvious one is realistically we need someone that's going to score more than 6 goals a season. You know, our top scorer in the league is Jorginho, and he's only scored them really from penalties. And it's like, you know, it's not necessarily a bad thing that all the goals have been shared around, but you know, I think that's the difference between us being where we are and challenging a title, maybe.
You
know, so if we're getting on top of what we've got, if we're getting someone that's scoring, you know, just over 10 goals a season, if you can average that, which from like, you know, a first team striker isn't necessarily too much to ask for. You know, we've got 6 from Werner, and he's had an awful season as a finisher.
Yeah. How much did Werner cost?
I think it was about 50.
Oh.
Which, you know, it might have been a bit less. I remember because they were all sort of mixed together in my head when, you know, Ziyech and Havertz and everyone signed. Yeah. Obviously, Havertz was the most expensive one of the lot, but he is still 21. So.
Yeah. How old's Werner?
I think 26 or something around there.
Oh, he's 20. Yeah, he's 25.
Okay, 25. Okay. We've still got time to improve, and I do think they'll be given another chance to do it next season. To be honest.
Yeah, it's just trying to find his feet, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Now let's go on to the Arsenal game. Wasn't great.
Was horrible. It was just such a boring game, you know. Like, thing is, I think, you know, Tuchel said in his interview after the game, like, I don't think they would have broken us down at any point in the game if we hadn't have given it to them. And obviously, you can't give it to them much more than we did. So, you know, there's blame being thrown at potentially 3 different players there. I'm not going to go into that, but you know, I think the only worrying thing is we didn't seem to be able to break them down or create many chances until like the 75th minute, and that's also what we saw in the FA Cup final yesterday. You know, we for sort of 70 minutes we weren't doing anything. You know, we were defending really solidly, and I don't think they would have broken through that easily. And I mean, it was shown they had to score a very good goal to win the match yesterday as well. But, you know, we waited 70 minutes to actually start doing anything. And then for the last 15, 20 minutes, we were really good. And we were creating loads of chances, but, you know, too little, too late.
Yeah. I guess because you had the cup final, the choice of the team wasn't... It was not a weak team, even though it's a weakened team. Do you think that player by player, Arsenal had a better team out, or do you think your second team's better?
Oh, that is difficult, actually. I think the team that we put out is better player for player, but that is also, you know, on a level of form. You know, I mean, arguably their best player this season, maybe, definitely, arguably, there's a few that could be there. Smith Rowe, potentially others, but like Saka, he's been one of their most dangerous players this season, and he had to get subbed off in the end because he wasn't, you know, able to get into the game.
Yeah.
And it took what we did to for them to break through. It's a shame that we took that long to get going, because I think maybe a few different players in the team, a few more, starting team players that just create a bit more, and we might have won that game.
Yeah, because let's have a look at the table. So you're fourth, 1 point ahead of Liverpool because of tonight's game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be close, yeah.
It is going to be close between the three teams, I think, realistically, Tuesday will probably decide it. Because if we... I don't think it'll be a draw Tuesday. I think it'll be quite a... Chelsea have got to be out for it, realistically.
Because if you win that game, you go above
Leicester and also above Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I think from there, we've got Villa at the last game. Not an easy game again, but I think it's in our hands if we win against Leicester, really.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move on to the FA Cup final.
It's just a similar thing to Arsenal, to be honest. Like I was saying, it's a difficult one to take because I don't think they really played that well. I don't think we did either, don't get me wrong. But I don't think either team really deserved to win. And
yeah, because you had the goal that got called off, didn't you?
Yeah, that is what it is. It's difficult with VAR and everything because you don't actually realise how painful it is. When sort of because if it happens in just a normal Premier League match, it's not great if you celebrated it, whatever. But in a cup final that could have got a draw or whatever, it kind of does take the whole passion out of supporting a club, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a hard one because in terms of helping the referee and the game being fairer, VAR is better. But then again, it is a sport. It's not supposed to be perfect.
I've always been a supporter of VAR. I've always thought, it's making mistakes and stuff, but it is probably good for the game. But I'm just, obviously, it maybe it does take something that happens to your team for you to change your mind on it. It is fair enough. It's probably just because it happened to us yesterday that I'm, kind of changing my mind. But I just don't think it's necessarily the right way to go completely.
Yeah, I think it makes the game fairer, but what we need to figure out is if it makes it better. Because especially when you're at the stadium and you're celebrating, and then the next second, you don't know what's going on, and then it ends up being called off. It's one of those which it's frustrating to watch as a fan.
Yeah, definitely, and especially when there's multiple things that happen throughout games that you debate should have been VAR maybe. Yeah. The thing is on their goal, I know the handball rule is it's a bit shit anyway. The way it is with the attacking handballs, I don't really think it should have been ruled out or anything. But the only thing I would say is Silva had a handball given against him, and they had they created a chance from it for the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and it's just double standards. That's the only thing I'd kind of question.
Yeah, definitely. It's a frustrating one. But yeah, let's. Is there anything else to talk about the FA Cup final?
No.
So let's talk about relegated players that we think could be signed to Premier League clubs.
Yeah, so I've got a list of a few people that maybe could. If I say a player, and then we can try and work out where he might fit in, because they can be a great player and be going down, but they might not fit in at any teams. Sam Johnston's one that I've highlighted. I think he's been great for West Brom this season. He's kept them in a lot of games, and although they've gone down, he gave them a fighting chance.
I'm trying to think about teams which he could go to.
Yeah, teams coming up that obviously Watford, they're still, Ben Foster was still their keeper until fairly recently. No, I think he's still sort of a squad player, but I don't think that backman is good enough to be a Premier League keeper.
Yeah.
So maybe Watford.
Yeah.
And obviously another keeper that could is Ramsdale.
That's true.
I know he's let in a lot of goals. Not that I think I do actually I rate him. But
I don't think he's played bad though. I think it's the whole team's not been great. So when the whole team's not great and you're the keeper, you're always going to concede a lot.
Yeah, it just reflects worse on you than anyone else.
Yeah, 100%.
But I've got one more West Brom and Sheffield. Pereira, he's been very good for them as well. He's so creative. He can, just create chances from weird positions. He's been very good for them this season.
Yeah, 100%.
To be quite honest, I don't know where he'd go, but that sort of creative player, like any team could do with him, even if he's just off the bench or something.
I'd be surprised if he ends up going to one of the top 4 leagues in Europe, not necessarily a Premier League team, but maybe go to a Spanish league team or something like that.
Yeah, that he does seem like that sort of player that could do that.
Yeah.
In terms of Sheffield again, Sander Berg.
Yeah,
he's been good for them.
It's been pretty good on fancy.
Yeah. I think he's one of those sort of players that could sign for another team, but might just sort of hold off because he doesn't seem to be that in. People don't want him that much, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
but
he's a good player, but he doesn't seem to be a player that has a lot of hype at all.
Yeah. He's just one of those players that sort of just gets about that game, and I'm sure there will be some links over the summer at some point. But maybe he'll go back to some European team like he was at before. Who knows? Fulham. I mean, one I've got highlighted here is Lamina, but I don't know whether, because I heard that he might be given a chance at Saints again.
Yeah, well, what I heard was the deal was if Fulham stayed up, then they could buy him, or they had to. I think they had to buy him, but because they didn't, I think he's coming back, I assume. But
I know his attitude's not necessarily there, but he is a talented player still.
Yeah, I'd still give him another go. Because I remember when we played United and he just had Pogba in his back pocket the whole game. So he is a really good player.
Yeah. And then the other two I've got are Anthony Robinson, the American left back, and Ademola Lookman.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them are pretty good players. I can't think of any team that needs a left back, but I'm sure there is one.
Yeah, probably.
Actually, Saints need one, don't you?
Yeah,
with Bertrand leaving. I don't know if he's your sort of signing, but it wouldn't be a bad one necessarily.
Yeah, to be fair, probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Out of the 3 teams that have gone down, so Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield, are there any of those teams that you think will go back up?
I think it does depend a lot on sort of how many players they can keep hold of.
Yeah.
If any of these players any of the players that I've mentioned stay in these 3 teams, I think that team will go up again. I don't think Sheffield will. I have a feeling they're just going to have a couple more seasons away from it because they were really poor this year. And I think a few of their big players will want to leave.
It's weird though how they could have such a good season as well, and then the next season just be completely downhill.
I think they had a system that worked, and when it got to that second season, people just sort of were able to play against it.
Yeah. Yeah, because they didn't have many different ways to play. That's
yeah. Okay,
so yeah, do you want to go the Hall of Fame?
We'll do the previews first.
Oh, do you want to do the previews first? Okay.
Yeah, probably easier. So Saints v Leeds. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I think Saints will lose that one, though, to be honest. I'm going to back us for getting a goal. I'm going to go 2-1. But I reckon Leeds are going to beat us in that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Leeds are. I feel like they're a team which Saints will struggle against because they're got quite a solid team, and like was their last game Burnley?
Yeah, they won 4-0.
4-0, yeah. So they've been playing well, and even though you could say Saints have played well, it's against Fulham 3-1 and Crystal Palace. So I think Leeds will end up beating us. But I think we'll put up a fight though. So I think it'll be close. I think they'll win.
I'd say similar things. I think it will be a close game. I think both teams will score in it. I'd probably go for a purely so I don't. I'd probably have gone for 2-1, but I'll go for a 3-1 Leeds, just so it's different.
Okay.
I think Leeds have been very good this season. To be fair, in their first season, got some really good attacking players. Bamford's firing at the moment, which is great for them. Rafinha's class. And then Saints they've been playing well recently. I think they'll get a goal, but I do think Leeds will have too much.
Yeah, definitely. So let's go on to Chelsea versus Leicester. We spoke a bit about this game already, but
yeah, prediction-wise, I'm gonna back us, of course. I'm gonna go 2-0 Chelsea.
I'm gonna go 3-2 Chelsea.
Okay.
Because
I'd take that.
Yeah. I just felt like whoever won the cup final would lose the next game.
It's one of those sort of things, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Would you prefer to have the cup final or win against?
I'd prefer to get top 4 than win that singular cup final. Obviously, I'd rather win the Champions League than get top 4, obviously. But
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'd prefer. Obviously, it would have been great to get everything, but I'm not gonna. If somehow we get top 4 and win the Champions League, the FA Cup will kind of be forgotten about.
Yeah, definitely.
For me.
Yeah,
but that is still a lot to ask.
Yeah, if you win the Champions League but don't get top 4, do you have to go through qualification or is it?
No, anyone that wins the Champions League gets in straight away.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if it was you had to qualify or something.
If that does happen, though, if we don't get top 4 and we win the Champions League, a 5th place becomes available.
Oh, really?
So, top 4 get it and we get it.
Yeah.
So there'll be 5 teams in, which would be quite entertaining.
So if you win it and finish in the top 4, then the 5th team will get it. So
no, only if we don't finish in.
Oh, if you don't.
It's so complicated. I was reading through it trying to work it out. But that's the only physical way there can be more than 4 times.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite interesting. One game we haven't spoke about, because we'll just speak about quickly before we go on to the Liverpool-Burnley game, is Liverpool-West Brom.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, I was telling you, it was on the 90th minute, we were watching the clock for the 2-1. I just saw it come up on the 95th minute. It was, fair enough to them. Alisson, very good header, to be fair to him.
Yeah. Keepers always seem to be able to.
As much as I was annoyed at, seeing they scored, fair play. Like it just was quite good.
It's like a FIFA moment there.
Yeah. Like if it happens in the game, you're annoyed, but you're like, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then prediction for Liverpool-Burnley. Obviously, Liverpool have a lot to play for still. because whatever happens in Chelsea game, they will go into the top 4 if they win that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So, just getting in there and, that last game of the season will be theirs to lose no matter what now, which is nice for them. And then I'd probably go, I think Burnley will still put up a fight because they'll, they are a decent team, although they have been struggling. Obviously, to lose 4-0 to Leeds is quite a bad loss. I'm going to go 2-1 again to Liverpool.
I'm going 2-0 to Liverpool. I think because of the 4-0 loss, I think their confidence is going to be low, and I think they will. Either way, I think they'll lose. If they score a goal, I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think they really have a chance in winning.
Yeah, fair enough.
West Brom versus West Ham is the last game.
I know it's not a great game or anything, but I just sort of went through all the ones that were top 4, contentions. West Ham are still in and around it. Like, I'm talking about Leicester, Chelsea, and Liverpool, but West Ham are still sort of just about in the area to get it. If they don't, Europa League is still a good finish for them this season, I think. But I think it'll be a close one. West Brom will be upset that they lost right at the end today, and they'll, what West Brom are like. They'll play their same football, and I'm gonna go for a 2-1 West Ham win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fair result. I think I'm gonna go with a 3-1 West Ham win.
Okay.
But I feel like West Brom, they don't really have anything to play for, do they?
No.
When West Ham the 7, because West Ham could go up to 6th if they win, and Spurs lose.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're level on points.
Yeah.
The Spurs, so they could still get top 6.
Yeah, it'll be a good last couple of games of the season. See who can get in there. So we'll move on to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Okay.
Obviously, Shearer and Henry are already on there. They were the ones that were put forward straight away, and then the rest is down to a public vote. So we've both chosen the 6 people that we would or did vote for. Firstly, we'll go through see if we have any of the same players. So I've obviously gone for the Chelsea players. I'm obviously gonna go for them. Lampard, Terry, Cole, and Drogba. So that was 4 of my picks. Did you go for any of those?
I've just screenshotted them now and I'm just going through. So when Harry asked me who I put, I first straight away went Ian Wright. But I've also got to put Matt Letizia in that as well.
Yeah.
I feel like Lampard. I see. Such a hard choice.
It is, because there's a lot there that you could go for. Because my other 2 were probably Gerrard and I was a bit unsure. There was a few that I was picking between, but I went with Vieira.
Yeah, I'd probably put Ferdinand in there as well, actually. Rio Ferdinand.
Okay.
Just because of the solid years
he
had at United.
I was, because like you say, Ian Wright's definitely up there. Scholes could be, Vidic could. I mean, everyone in this list could be. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But I've gone obviously from the Chelsea players, Vieira and Gerrard for me.
Yeah, Robin van Persie. I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame right now.
Yeah, not quite yet.
He was still a really good player, but
yeah, definitely.
Robin van Persie just feels like, I don't know if he ever would get into the Hall of Fame.
He's not quite on. Like, you look up, you see Cantona, you see Bergkamp, you see. But then again,
Scholes, all these, and then you've got Van Persie. I don't know if that's because we've seen him play proper, from earlier on in his career.
Yeah,
when a lot of these other players, we were really young when they were
you hear so much, and it's all that nostalgia about the older players. Maybe, obviously we've watched bits of them back in time, but there is definitely an element of, these players are supposed to be good. Yeah. So that's who we're voting for, in a way. Fair enough that Henry and Shearer, I wouldn't argue with those two with anyone.
100%.
But yeah, they're my 6.
Yeah, I think I'm going to read them out again because I kind of said it in a bit of a random order. So, I've got Ian Wright, Paul Scholes, Peter Schmeichel, Matt Letizia, Frank Lampard, and Rio Ferdinand. That's my 6.
Okay, and my 6 was Cole, Lampard, Drogba, Terry, Gerrard, and Vieira.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. There's one more. Yeah, sorry. Have you got anything else to say about this?
No, I was just going to say, not that I don't think any of the others would be worthy candidates. They were just my choices.
Yeah, I feel like that's an argument which you could never finish because there's so many.
Definitely.
Because how many? Is it 2 they're putting in?
No, they're putting in 6.
Oh, so they are. I wasn't sure if they were just saying.
So they are actually. There's going to be. Wait, I wrote this down. I think So there's going to be 8 people in it.
Okay.
For now, and 6 people are voted for out of that 8. Obviously, with Henry and Shearer taking the other spaces.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I assume they've just taken this whole idea from American sports.
Yeah, definitely. They almost took a few more ideas from American sports. Luckily, the Super League didn't happen. That's a whole nother subject.
Yeah. The amount of Americans who are really confused at what's wrong with the Super League.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, they don't understand the sort of passion of a sport. Like, you look at an MLS game, for example. Like, they get loads of fans there, whatever. But they're not very good fans. Let's be honest. Like, you see their chanting. It's a little bit like we take the piss out of it. That's how bad it is compared to, being here. It's just one of those things that. Yeah. Without, over here, we can't ever imagine sport being like that. But I think for them, it would be the same the other way. So it's... Yeah.
Yes, because that's what we've grown up with is this, and they've grown up with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's something you can't really, change, because all of theirs are like organized. Like, you look at the basketball teams, a lot of them like change locations and everything. When if say Man United got brought and were taken to Liverpool or something, imagine.
Yeah, you can never imagine things like that. It would never happen. Like, if that happened, there would be so many protests.
Imagine if Accrington Stanley brought out United.
Like, just things like that in America actually happen. You can't imagine it ever being the case here.
It would not go down well. Just like one of the worst, just a terrible, like, imagine Shrewsbury game. I know what, I want to buy Man City.
Yeah.
Last thing to talk about is who we would add to the 23-man England team.
So I obviously this was we made a podcast about who was in our 23-man team before. I believe since then they've announced that there will be 3 more players allowed in the squad. I think it was 3. Not that I've got the actual teams that we chose written down, but I'm pretty sure I know who we missed out, or who I missed out at least. And some of the players that I would put in from that, Maddison for a start. There was a lot of players that I was picking between in that sort of area, and he was just the one that I missed out. But now we've got that extra space, he definitely deserves to be there.
Yeah, the England team is so hard to just we're in a good position where we've got too many players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who I'll change.
And also in that right back spot, because a lot of the talk was about who was going to be in the right back spot. But now you can, probably add one more from, because it was probably going to be a choice between James, Arnold, Trippier, Wan-Bissaka. There's all these good options, but Wan-Bissaka wasn't even getting a look in at all. I still don't think he will, personally. Not that I don't think he deserves to. I think with that extra option, I wouldn't mind seeing him there, but I think it will allow for another centre back and Walker to be sort of 100% a right back. Maybe a Keane or someone that we missed out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
true. Is there any other players you can think of?
Yeah, I would put Will Prowse in. Just because he's got the best free kicks in the league. I feel like he's always got one of the best free kicks in the league. So I feel like he would be a good player to bring, even if he's just a squad player.
It just brings something different.
Yeah.
And if what we're doing isn't working, winning some fouls with the players we've got isn't too much of an ask, and then let Will Prowse do the rest.
Yeah. Plus, he can play right back. So if we get injuries or whatever reason, we don't have a right back anymore, we should put him there. What do you think about Alexander Arnold? People saying that, I think it was The Sun that did an article saying that he doesn't deserve to go to the World Cup.
It is a big debate about it, isn't it? But
yeah,
a lot of people question his defensive ability, and I've definitely said that before as well. But I still think it's worth bringing him. Like, personally, I don't know what Southgate sees in Trippier. I think out of all of the ones that he likes, he's he sort of, in the last call-ups, he called up James, Trippier and Walker, didn't he? No, Trent wasn't involved. I think Trent should go because I think he's a good attacking sort of wing-back option if we want him.
Yeah.
I think James should go. I love him. But I think maybe Trippier is a little bit overrated in my opinion.
Yeah. I think, Southgate seems to have bias over quite a couple of players that just can't be dropped, like Pickford and Trippier. Even with Kane a bit, when he shouldn't play, he does.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
I think that my last. So I've said two people up till now, and I think my last extra man would probably be a striker because I only had like two in my starting squad.
Okay.
I'd probably go for Watkins.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins. That's a shout.
I had Calvert-Lewin and Kane in my first squad, and then Rashford was one of the wingers who technically could play up front, but I think Watkins wouldn't be a bad option to take either. Yeah,
I think Watkins would be a very good option to take. He played well when he played for England, didn't
he? Yeah, he scored, didn't he? So
yeah, I think that was his first goal he scored.
Yeah.
Any other players?
I think those three, maybe a Bellingham or something if you're really reaching. I think there's players that at this point, I think there is other players that should go ahead of him, but potentially a Bellingham.
If there's room, I think it would be worth taking him for the. I know it might sound silly to say for the experience when you're playing in something like, the Euros, but
no, I know
it's important. I think it is important for him to play in as well because he is one of our young talents.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about this one?
No, that's all for me. I've said my three.
Yeah. So this podcast is a bit shorter than our normal ones, but we'll probably do another one next week as well. It'll probably come out the same week. It's Sunday today.
Yeah, we'll have one later in the week.
Yeah, so follow us on TikTok. It's just The Football Experience. Twitter is The Football XP. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the podcast, leave it a review on Apple. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to Football Experience. We also have social medias you can follow. Our TikTok is at The Football Experience. Twitter is The Football Experience XP. The Instagram is v.footballexperience. We're also on many different podcast platforms. We're on YouTube, Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocketcasts, RadioPublic as well. We also have a website which is thefootballexperiences.co.uk, so it's got an S on the end. And yeah, thank you for listening and all the support. If you can leave us any reviews or anything, that would be great. Reviews on Apple are so useful. And yeah, thank you for all the support.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust.